Uh, it is visible now.
Yeah,
Is
thank you.
visible.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, let's have a brief recap of what we had learned in Life Edit. So, yeah, first of all, something which no one asked me yesterday and even I didn't touch upon. Why is this workshop called Life Reset? Why is it Life Reset? Can someone tell me what you think about the word reset or life reset? As I told you yesterday, I love asking questions and it's gonna be the same today. I want you all to interact, uh, share your answers. Let go of the fear. Let go of the fear. Share whatever you think is the right answer. Anyone?
Uh, we do
Yeah,
like whatever activities that we do throughout our day are mostly based on our habits, or they are most of the time we do it subconsciously because we have been doing it the same way. So the
right.
session is about changing our habits and altogether
Hmm.
changing those activities. That's why the name is Life Reset, I think.
Okay, thank you. That's a good attempt. And others?
Because we are reorganizing our thought process.
Okay, okay, great. Both of you have tried answering, and it was quite on the point. Let me put it this way. Suppose you are traveling from Chennai to Delhi, right? Chennai to Delhi on a flight, not a train. Train would take some 2 3 days. So you're traveling from Chennai to Delhi on a flight, and you are anyway not in charge if you are a passenger. But imagine you are the pilot. So you are the pilot. You are traveling from Chennai to Delhi, and do you know what happens? You chart your navigation, how the flight is going to take the projection, uh, I mean the trajectory of the flight. You would trace it, and you will find out what angle you need to fly, what elevation you need to reach and stuff, right? But imagine, while going on the flight, if there is a difference of 1 degree, 1 degree in your trajectory, what would happen? Like you are traveling from Chennai to Delhi, and in the trajectory you need to take, there is a difference of 1 degree.
We
What
will land
might
somewhere
happen?
else.
We land somewhere else. Exactly. That's what would happen with our lives if we don't audit, if we don't analyze the trajectory that we are taking, if we are not, reflecting upon the angle, the trajectory that we are taking in life, and if we don't reset from time to time, there is a great chance that we end up landing somewhere else than the place where we actually wanted to land. Is it not? That is why this workshop is named Life Reset, because this session intends to help you all reset your direction so that you all can achieve your goals timely. So, with this, let me give you a brief recap of what we did yesterday. In Life Edit, we have discussed 5 keys which will help you gain momentum and design your best life, which are life edit. First one is life audit, life edit, life debit, life credit, and life accredit. So, life audit, you analyze your current situation in your life in each of your empires. For those who haven't attended yesterday, empires are something that will, a 4 to 6 empires. I asked all of you to figure out 4 to 6 empires, which will encompass all of your life, all the aspects of your life. So for these 4 to 6 empires, whichever you have figured out, I asked everyone to analyze your current situation, give a rating on 10. And then I asked everyone to figure out or forecast their growth in each of these empires, where they want to see themselves in each of these empires on Jan 1st, 2023. That would be your life edit. The difference between current and the future would be your life edit. Based on that, I have asked you to pick one empire, and further, we went on to figure out life debits and life credits. Three things you want to deduct from your life, which will make the life debit, and three things that you want to introduce into your life or do more often will make the life credit. These are two amazing tools which will give you pinpointed requirements of what needs to be done to reach where you expect to be. And then the fifth one, which is actually interesting because we don't find any direct correlation out between life accredit, which is basically finding things which you are grateful for, and growth. We don't find any direct relevance between gratitude and growth by plain sight, but it's amazing how gratitude helps you live a better life, makes you happier, makes you live more meaningful life. Just one moment, something. So cool. Right. Yesterday, something that I have missed while talking about gratitude is that gratitude doesn't end when you recognize. Like, in the life accredit, we have just listed down three things which we are grateful for and which would help us in our growth, in achieving the life edit that we expect. Right? That is what we did. But gratitude doesn't end there. Gratitude is goes in three steps. The first one is recognition. Second one is remembrance. The third one is reciprocation. So gratitude goes from recognizing the things you are grateful for and remembering them. Often what happens is we just thank people immediately, instantaneously when they do something for us. But when they are in need, we forget what they have did for us. This can commonly be seen around the world. You know, uh, a small example, common example would be that a child is pampered for and loved for by their parents when he's an infant. As he grows up till teenage, till he's an adolescent and young adults, they remember what their parents have did for them. But as they grow old, as they become as they get into 40s and 50s, a lot of people tend to forget what their parents have did for them, and that's why we see old age homes, a lot of old age homes coming up. So gratitude doesn't end in recognition, it should go further into remembrance, and the culmination of gratitude happens in reciprocation. So as I told you yesterday that you need to figure out things you are grateful for, this would be the next steps you need to take up once you have recognized what you are grateful for. And expressing gratitude is the key. It's not that you just have recognized, you need to express gratitude. And how do you express gratitude? It needs to be specific, and it also needs to be personalized. Personalizing gratitude is a very simple thing. Suppose Kshitij is my good friend. So if he did something for me, if I just drop a message saying, "Thank you, Kshitij, I owe you one," just meaning that when you are in need, I'll surely help you. This is a plain way of saying thank you. But whereas if you personalize it a bit more, say that, "Hey, Kshitij, it's been your whatever you have done for me means a lot," and you go to specifics, what have they done and what it means to you. If you go to the specifics, that is how you can actually express gratitude in its right essence. So these are a few things that were covered yesterday or that were missed yesterday. Now, before we move into today's session, which is the power of habits and breaking bad habits, as we did yesterday, let us do a short guided meditation. How many of you are excited for this? I got a very good response yesterday for the meditation we did. So I want to see how many of you are excited for this. Raise your virtual hand. Great. Adarsh is up for it. Shreya is up for it. Rajashri is up for it. Great, great. Great to see all of your energy flowing in. Keep that coming in. And I'll start today's meditation. I would ask each and every one of you in your own pace, at your own time, lower your gaze and close your eyes. With your eyes closed, try to see the tip of your nose. As you focus on the nose tip, find a space of silence. Bring your focus to calm, balance, ease, stillness, and peace. Your mind may wander, your mind may get distracted, but all you need to do is tend to it gently and bring it back to calm, ease, balance, stillness, and peace. Sit in a comfortable posture. There is no rush. There is no fear. Become aware of your natural breathing pattern. There is no rush. Do not force your breath. Become aware of your natural breathing pattern. Keep breathing. Inhale with your nose and exhale with your mouth. Now, inhale for a count of 4 and exhale within 1 second. Your lungs should make a sound the way a motor engine sounds. Inhale for a count of 4 and exhale within a count of 1. Repeat this for 10 times at your own pace in your own time. Bring back your awareness to your natural breathing pattern as you focus on calm, balance, ease, stillness, and peace in your own pace, at your own time. Gently rub your palms and open your eyes. How did it go? Let me know in the chat box. How did you feel after this meditation as we get into today's topic, which is to understand the power of habits? Others finds it awesome. Rishabh likes it as well. Great, great, great. Now let's dive into today's topic, which is the power of habits. Before we dive into breaking bad habits. Right. So, what makes your life the way it is? This is the first question I want all of you to answer. What makes your life the way it is? This may sound like a viva, but I would ask you, what makes your life the way it is? Yeah, others, please.
The circumstances in which we are present in.
Okay. Anyone else wants to add something?
Yeah, the choices that we make at each step is what makes our life the way it is. Like choosing what to eat, uh, choosing what to do with our spare time,
Okay.
choosing which movie to watch. and stuff like that.
Right. Um, yeah, Kayur, it's exactly what it's right. It's exactly right. But your current choices will make your future life, right?
Correct.
So I'm like, to be precise, I'm asking what makes your life the way it is right now. Yeah, choices is one thing. Your past choices.
Yep.
What else?
Past
What else
choices.
do you think? What else do you think make your life the way it is? Shreya also says choices that we make and our actions. Yeah, you're right. Akash says making same mistakes again and again. Right. Great. What else? Anyone wants to add anything? What makes your life the way it is? Okay. Our dreams and aims. Okay. More often than not, we hold our background, our parents, and our schooling. We hold this responsible for what happens in our life, more often than not. But if we just dive deeper and try to understand a bit, just the way Kayur and others have done, you will figure out that it's all about habits. Of course, your schooling, your parents have the influence, but their influence exists just as habits. From your schooling, from your parents, from your background, from your family, all that you take into your life just remains as habits. Akash says making same mistakes and again, making same mistakes again and again. Yeah, this is a habit. In the same way, situations we face, choices we made, our surroundings and upbringing. Right. All this account to your habits. Now, if you, what can you change? You can't change your schooling, it's past. You can't change your family, it can only be accepted. You can't change your background, it is again something you need to accept. But what you can actually change is the habits that you have in your life. How many of you are with me on this? How many of you understood this? Type in me, me, me. Great. Great to see your understanding. Now let's dive a little more deeper to understand how did your habits actually form. A lot of habits, as we discussed, come from a schooling background and family. What about a lot of other habits? How did they actually form? Right, this is something we never think about. We have a lot of habits like checking Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp the first thing as we wake up. How did this form? Neither our schooling, neither our parents would recommend us to do that, right? In the same way, we may have habits like, you know, some people may have habits like smoking, drinking, or, getting into toxic environments. Where did all these habits come from? They don't just fall in to you while you're asleep. It doesn't happen that way, right? So your habits actually get installed into your life. How does it happen? Either you install them yourself, which is like a software. Otherwise, they may creep into your life just like virus or malware would creep into your system. That is how it happens. Right? Now we'll understand how should we install softwares, which is good habits, and how can we remove the virus or malware, which is breaking bad habits. We'll understand breaking bad habits today, and tomorrow we will be talking about building new habits, building desirable habits. This brings to me this brings me to something we have discussed yesterday. That change comes by choice, as Kayur and Shreya have shared earlier today. Your life depends on the choices that you make, right? Change comes by choice. But how do you choose right? How do you keep making the right choices? Does someone have an answer how to make the right choice? Anyone? You might be seeing the answer on the screen. Come on. I hope
By
everyone is
making
seeing the
right
screen.
choices.
Yeah, how do you make the right choices?
Like from basic awareness, we know that anything is harmful for us or not. Then by choosing the
Okay.
right thing for us, uh, we will
Mm-hmm.
go in right path.
Right. One point is awareness, or right, awareness or discrimination, knowing what's right and what's wrong. But it happens with me that I know that using mobile a lot, or spending a lot of time on social media is wrong for me. I know that, but still I end up doing it sometimes. How do I overcome that? Just discrimination doesn't do the work, right? I think
Uh,
there are some answers in chat. Yeah,
mm,
yeah, Kayur.
we also need sometimes the right environment and the right set of people
Mm-hmm.
to
Okay,
make the right choices, because mostly we are affected by our peers in general if
great,
we look at our lives. So that's
great,
how I see it.
great. Uh, Okay, all these are external factors, but let's talk about the internal factors. Internal factors, first one is discrimination, others has pointed out. What else? What else are the internal factors that will, decide whether you do something or not, whether you make a right choice or not?
Self-control.
Self-control, yeah, it can also be called as determination, or, you know, willpower, maybe. As Manisha says, it is by strong willpower, maybe. Bhavesh says it's realization. It falls again into discrimination. Shubham says right choice should be according to the personal preferences and goals. Right? That's your own discrimination. Dopamine is a key factor. Right? Values. Values again, values will decide your discrimination. A flexible perspective, Shreya says. Shreya, I didn't actually get what a flexible perspective means. I would love to know if you can explain it.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are clear.
As a by flexible perspective, I meant that if we are rigid about something, we cannot look at
Mm-hmm.
the entire situation. So rather than being rigid,
Great.
we should look at different ways that we can approach a situation which will enable us to make a better choice.
Exactly. You're having a flexible perspective will keep updating your discrimination, keep upgrading your discrimination. That
Yes.
works. But the second aspect, as we have talked, is determination or willpower. Right. Let us talk about both. But first up, I'll talk about willpower. So, what's willpower? Willpower, if you check out the definition, it will say that willpower is the control exerted to do something or restrain impulses. If you closely see in there, there is this word of exertion. As long as you are exerting something, it's gonna be a tiresome process. It's gonna be exhaustive process. More often than not, this is where we fail. Our willpower is limited. Our willpower is exhaustible. That is where we fail. We know what's right, we know what's wrong, but where we fall short is in our willpower. As someone told, having a strong willpower, but even strong willpower will fall short of something. This, in other terms, is called as decision fatigue. If you keep making a lot of choices in life, you will end up developing something called decision fatigue, where you fail to make the right decisions. This is a neuroscience point of view for seeing the exhaustible nature of willpower. So will willpower work? Will willpower work in helping you make the right choice? The answer, if you reflect upon in your life, in your own lives, would be no. Willpower can't help you all day, all the year. But what can actually help you is habit power, the power of habits. Let us take it this way. How many of you have been to a new city or a new place in maybe last 5 years? Last 2 years might have been constricting you to your homes, but earlier you must have gone to some new place. How many of you have gone to a new place alone? It may be in your own city, but alone you went to a new place, right? Can one of you who have been alone to a new place tell me how do you navigate to that place? Anyone? Any of you can tell me? Going to a new place for the first time, how do you navigate there? Anyone? Shreya, Manisha?
Yes, sir, using maps and just asking people who are natives of that place.
Exactly. So you will take directions, you will ask people where to go, how to go, and you will research. But if you are going the second time, or maybe the third time, or even the fourth time, would you need asking the directions? Would you have to ask the directions, take directions? No, right? That is exactly how habits help. Your brain more or less works in the same way. All of you must have studied biology in your schooling, and you must have known something called neuron, the nerve cells, neurons. For any action to happen, there is a signal that comes from your brain to your sensory organs, sorry, your motor organs, and this signal passes through a set of neurons, and this forms a neural pathway in your nervous system. This neural pathway, when it is traversed again and again, it becomes so strong that it gets easier to traverse through that neural pathway. Let me put it in another way to make it to give you a better understanding. If you have ever been to a village, or if you have been to Vishwasaraya hostel in IIT or maybe any other hostel, you will find that on a grass patch, if people walk through a certain path every day, what would happen is the grass path will clear off. Like you will find a clear path through the grass path or through the agricultural field if people traverse through that path in and out every day. This is exactly how it will happen. Initially it may be rough, there would be a lot of obstacles, but as you traverse through that path day in and day out, it clears, the path gets clear, and it gets easier to traverse it every day. And that is exactly how habits help. That is exactly what habit power is. It's all in your mind that, sorry, it's all in your brain that the neural pathways get formed, and as you traverse it again and again, it gets easier and easier to traverse it further. And so with this we understand that we need to harness habit power, as willpower is more or less exhaustive and it is tiresome. I hope I could drive the point of how habit power helps you. If you understand this, type in the chat box HP. Habit power. Great. If there is any question at this moment, you are free to unmute yourself and ask me. Great. Great to see all of you understanding the power of habits, the habit power. With this, we'll move on to the next topic, which is breaking bad habits. Now let us understand what we have understood till now. Of more often than not, we hold our parents' background and our upbringing and our schooling to responsible for what we do in our life, how our life goes on. But if you reflect upon it further, you will understand that it's all about your habits. Now, in habits, there are two kinds: the desirable ones and the undesirable ones. First up, we'll understand how these undesirable habits actually form. I hope all of you want to break those habits, but first of all, let us understand how they actually come up and how to actually find out which habits are not helping you, which habits need to be uninstalled from your life. Does someone has a question? I heard someone unmuting themselves. All right. First up, I want to share three keys for growth. Three keys for growth and three principles for happy living. Live a happy life. Yesterday, a lot of people have been telling that happiness is one of their key empires. That's good, but how to live a happy life? To live a happy life, it's all about, having your purpose clear and having your trajectory clear to reach your goals, achieve your goals, which are aligned with your purpose. So it takes a life reset to align your goals with your purpose and also align your trajectory to reach your purpose. And the three principles that will help you are: the first principle is awareness, knowing yourself, knowing what your purpose in life is, knowing what actually makes you happy. All this will fall under awareness. As we yesterday talked, self awareness and self acceptance, or self acceptance and self love, are the key for self growth. So awareness is the first step. You need to know who you are. You need to know what your purpose is. And the second principle would be acceptance. More often than not, what happens is we tend to become someone else. We tend to live a different life. This happens because we compare ourselves with others. But I would tell you guys, becoming someone else, living a different life, won't give you fulfillment. What gives you fulfillment is finding your own gifts, finding your own purpose, and living your purpose. That will give you fulfillment. Nothing else is going to be. For this, the second principle would be acceptance. You need to accept who you are, accept what you have, and accept what your purpose is, accept what you are here for. And then the third principle would be aspiration. Aspiration is a beautiful word. I love it a lot because desires, ambitions, goals, dreams, all of these more or less constricted to yourself. Whereas aspiration is something which is for something bigger than you, bigger than your own self. That's the difference between aspirations and desires. So aspiration is something that is bigger than yourself. You need to, you need to think larger than yourself. Start with thinking of your family, Further, you can think of your society. Further, you may think of the world. Doing something for the world, something for the society, doing something for your own family members, and doing something for the universe. This is aspiration. These are three keys, three principles you need to install in yourself for growth: awareness, acceptance, and aspiration. Once you dive into awareness, you will understand that you lack a few things. You are in the process of building a few things, whether it be a skill, whether it be a habit, whether it be a behavioral trait. There are four stages, in understanding yourself. The first stage would be unconscious incompetence. Let's take an example. How many of you know how to ride a bicycle? Raise your hands. Raise your virtual hand. Great, more or less. I hope all of you would know how to drive a bicycle or maybe a two-wheeler. Great. Now that you know how to ride a bicycle, I want to know if there is anyone who was born knowing how to ride a bicycle. No, right? All of us are born without knowing to ride a bicycle. And we also don't know that we need to learn cycling. Just when you are born, before you are introduced to the world, you never know that there is something called a cycle and you need to learn how to ride a bicycle. We never know. That stage is called unconscious incompetence. You don't know how to do it and you don't even know that you need to do it, right? And the next stage would be conscious incompetence. Once you are out, once you start going to school, you see that a lot of people come to school by bicycle and it's fun. Now you understand that you need to learn how to cycle, but you don't know how to cycle. This stage is called conscious incompetence. And then after a lot of efforts, you will come to a stage which is conscious competence. You know how to ride a bicycle and you know that you know how to ride a bicycle. And you do it, very consciously. Carefully ride the bicycle so that you don't fall down, don't may do any accident on the road. That stage is called conscious competence. And after a lot of practice, a lot of you know doing it day in and day out, there will come a day when you can go hands free. You start riding your bicycle hands free. How many of you can ride your bicycle hands free? I can do it. Yeah, great. So that stage is unconscious competence. You know that you do it, but you are not conscious of it any longer. You just do it. That is the stage where habits will take you to. Habits will take you to that stage of unconscious competence. But the key step would be from two to three. You don't know how to do something, but you know that you need to do it, to the stage where you can do it. That is the key step. Two to three is the key step that we'll understand today for bad habits. How to break a bad habit. Let me give a very relevant example, relevant to this session. Uh, as I talk to people, I have a lot of, what I don't know what they are called, fillers maybe. Yeah, they are called fillers. Even still I have a lot of fillers, but there used to be a filler which is mane, means, whether it be in English, whether it be in my mother tongue, whether it be in Hindi. I repeatedly use this word. In Telugu, it is ante. In English, it is means. But for a lot of time, I was in unconscious incompetence. I didn't know that I'm using it a lot. But then someone, a friend of me, told me that, you use this word a lot. Then I understood. Right. I'm actually using this a lot. From 2 to 3, it's all about being conscious. Like for getting rid of this filler word, it's all about conscious, conscious efforts to figure out why you are doing it and how often you are doing it. But after you practice not using that word, you will reach once I reached one stage where I don't consciously look for it. The same can happen with all of your bad habits. With that, I'll help you all understand your own bad habits. Now, I want you all to take a half minute to figure out one bad habit that you want to break, one bad habit that has been bothering you, and you want to break it. You want to let go of it. Something we all need to understand is we all being humans, we all have a lot of vices, we all have a lot of habits which we need to let go of. And today I want you to choose one of those habits which you want to break and uninstall it from your life. If you are ready with that one habit, type in BBH. Let's break bad habits. Are you ready with that bad habit which you want to break today? Great, great. Monica is ready, Shreya is ready, Gayatri is ready, Shivani is ready, Om is ready. Great. Kishore, Rajeshri, Adarsh. Great to see. Great to see all of your energy flowing in. Right. All of you are ready with one bad habit that you want to break. But first of all, let us understand how bad habits are formed, how they come into our lives. The first step that happens with any kind of bad habit, more or less, is attraction. We have certain attraction to do something. It may be a mobile game, it may be Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. We all started with something in our mind. Instagram to check out on your friends, check out on their pictures. We started with something on our mind. And that attraction brings you to something. Let me give a personal example. It would be chess, not the real chess, but the game chess.com app, mobile app. So initially, I was attracted. Chess is a cool thing. It will help you uh, mend your brain, activate your brain and stuff. So I was attracted to this game. I started playing it. And the thing about mobile apps is that they make it addictive. They want you to come back again and again. And in chess app, if you use it, you will see that there is a timed game of 2 minutes, like 1 minute game. Each player gets 1 minute. Either you survive without a checkmate or you exhaust your 1 minute. So that's the game. Being 2 minutes, it is quite addictive. I started with an attraction, but it being addictive, I got addicted to it. This is what happens in with all of your bad habits. Initially, there is an attraction. You try it, you get an experience, and someone has mentioned dopamine. Dopamine is one of the neurotransmitters, which is called the pleasure hormone. Whenever you have a pleasurable experience, your mind or your brain releases this neurotransmitter called dopamine, which gives which makes you feel pleasure. And the thing about dopamine is it's the main culprit in all the addictions, whether it be smoking, whether it be tea, coffee, whatever addictions you find out in the world, all of them are due to this thing called dopamine. And there will come a time when you may realize that this addiction or this bad habit is not helping me. I need to eliminate it. I need to get rid of it. But then you will reach a stage of attachment. You know that you need to let go of it, but you can't let go of it. So these are three stages of your bad habits. Initially, there is an attraction, then it becomes addictive, and once you realize that it's actually killing your life, you would be in a stage of attachment. But I want all of you to remember that letting go may be hard. Letting go of your habits, letting go of things you're attached to may be hard, but holding on is going to be harder. Either you make a choice right now to let go of something, or you make a decision about your future, that you would be losing something in your future. The choice is simple: whether you leave a bad habit right now or you leave a good result in your future. And it's clear and it's obvious that holding on is going to be harder. With this, I want you all to understand that whatever your bad habit may be, whatever your addiction may be, letting go is hard. Letting go may take, research says that breaking a bad habit would take 30 to 140 days. It is going to be hard, but holding on is surely going to be harder. With that, let me take you all to give an understanding of what our brains are made of, what our self is made of, right? We are all here. We are all going to break our bad habits. If you are with me, I just want to know. I just want to listen from some one of you, if anyone is up to share how letting go is going to be harder. I mean, holding on is going to be harder. Letting go is hard, we all know that, but how holding on is going to be harder. Can someone share their thoughts on this?
Yeah, it will hurt us every time whenever we find free time, like whenever we are alone, not with family or friends, then that thought will definitely come into our mind, and
Exactly.
uh, and it will pester us again and again until we let it go.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So even with the addiction, I told myself my addiction with chess, it's gonna kill a lot of time. And time, you all know, is the most precious real estate you have. It's, you know, time is one of the greatest resources you have, and it's gonna kill time. It's gonna kill your mental space. It may also, hurt you physically. If you are too much addicted to mobile games, your eyes may hurt. You may start getting headache more often. All these things are going to happen, and respectively, I want you all to figure out how holding on to this bad habit is going to hurt you. And I'll come to that point again. But before that, I want you all to meet yourself. Right. This is something interesting. I want all of you to give you a complete focus here. Modern science, modern science doesn't speak anything declaratively about this, but we can only find something about yourself in the Vedic sciences. Vedic sciences tell you that you are not this body, you are beyond this body. The body you see, it's not, you are not all in all. The simple logic we'll find is that when someone dies, when someone passes away, their body is all there, their body is intact, all of their organs, all of their, chemical composition of the body is all same. But we say that they have passed away. So who have passed away? Even not taking it literally, something has passed away, right? Otherwise, what's the difference between a living person and a dead person? Vedic sciences have an answer for this. The answer is that you are not this body, you are not the body you see, but you are a spirit soul. You In Sanskrit, it's called Atma. Atma is the observer. Atma is the I, the one who is speaking, the one who is listening on the other side, the one who is seeing the screen. That I is Atma. But there is something in between. I'm not going to explain all the details because that will, you know, take a lot of time from our session. But there is something in between which we all experience ourselves, which is the subtle body, which is also called Sukshma Sarira in Sanskrit. So this subtle body is made of three aspects, which are mind, intelligence, and ego. Ego is your basic, uh, what we say. Ego is basically your identity. How do you identify yourself? What do you identify yourself with? It may be something like Indian, IITN, engineer, male or female, white or black. All these things will together form your identity, the ego. But what are mind and intelligence? These are some things of interest for us right now. Mind is like a recorder box, or we can say it's a recommendation engine. How many of you use Spotify? If you use Spotify or YouTube, you see that there is a recommendation engine, right? Mind is exactly that. Mind will record all of your experiences, and it will record whether it will label whether something was pleasurable or not. If something is pleasurable, if you come across it again, your mind will tell you, do it, do it. A very good example would be ice cream. If you love ice cream, it is your mind that tells you eat ice cream. It doesn't mind whether you have a cold, whether it is whether it is winter, whether you are sick, whether you are on a diet. It doesn't mind all that. What your mind wants is pleasure. So whenever you come across an ice cream shop, it is your mind that pesters you to get an ice cream. But then something else is also there, right? Something else will tell that भाई सुन यार अभी इतनी ठंडी है अब आइसक्रीम नहीं खाना है सर्दी हो जाएगा. There is something, right? There is some other voice which tells you from inside that this is right, this is wrong. We told it is discrimination, but where does this discrimination come from? It is intelligence. So I want you to understand this nexus between mind and intelligence. Mind is that which only wants pleasure. It doesn't mind anything else. It just wants pleasure, immediate pleasure. Whereas intelligence is that discrimination you might have. So these are two most important things we need to understand before we get into breaking habits. And to make it a little more simpler to you all to remember, I would like to share an analogy from the Bhagavad Gita, which says that our five senses, you know, eyes, ears, tongue, skin, and what is the fifth sense? Taste, right? Taste is the most difficult one to control. So these are the five senses. So Gita says that these five senses are like the horses you see. You see the horses, and all the horses are controlled by reins. These reins are the mind, and the person who is controlling the reins is intelligence. So the charioteer is intelligence, the reins are mind, and the horses are your senses. And you see someone sitting behind the intelligence as well. Yeah, that person is you, the soul. He is just an observer, and he what all he can do is make the choice, right? That is what you can do. And a clear picture of this: the charioteer is the intellect, the reins are mind, the horses are the senses, and the horses are pulled by the objects of senses. Your tongue is pulled by some delicious food, your eyes are pulled by some, you know, watch worthy content on YouTube and Instagram. Your ears are pulled by music, music and other things. So all these are the sense objects. Each sense has its own sense object, right? These are a few things we need to understand before we break our habits. So I hope you all understood the nexus between mind and intelligence. If you have understood your the nexus between mind and intelligence, type MI, not Mumbai Indians, mind and intelligence. If you have understood it. If there is any question at this point, please share that. You can unmute yourself or type in the chat box. Great. Great to see that you could understand the nexus between mind and intelligence. Now, the big question. Now you understood what pulls your senses, what makes your mind addicted to something. You also understood how intelligence can control mind. So now the big question is how to break these habits. I don't want to give all the answers. I want you all to think, because it's research says that when you find the answers yourself, you will remember it better. So I want all of you to think and tell me how you can break the habits. You understood the mind intelligence nexus. You understood how the horses are driven by the sense objects, or the senses are driven by the sense objects. And you also understood how mind controls these senses. Now tell me how you can break the habits, how you can control the horses. Anyone? Any intelligent guesses? Come on, guys, we don't have a lot of time. I want you all to think and answer. I'm giving you one more minute to think and answer how to break the habits. Okay. Okay. I want you to answer in the language of horses, charioteer, and the reins. I want you to answer in this language, not in neuroscience, not in anything else. It's simple, right? Just forget mind intelligence and everything. There are few horses. There is a charioteer. He has reins in his hand, and the reins are tied to the horses. How does he control the horses? It's that simple. Now tell me, how do you control the horses? Yeah, of course you'll pull the reins, but to pull the reins, the charioteer need to be stronger than the horses. So how can you make the charioteer stronger than the horses? I'm making it simple. Forget mind, forget intelligence, forget senses. Just see horses, reins, and charioteer. If the charioteer needs to control the horses, what are the requirements? The charioteer needs to be stronger than the horses. So how will this happen? Shubham says developing the prefrontal cortex by gaining knowledge that increases willpower. Great, it helps, but what helps further is habit power. Monica says restrict ourselves. Okay, restrict ourselves in the sense restricting our senses. Is it what you want to say, Monica? It is. gave something I gave him today: acceptance, awareness, and aspiration. Madhuvani says, convince your mind that breaking bad habits is important. Okay. The range understand that they need to control the horse. Choosing intelligence over mind. Okay. Avoiding instant pleasures. Great. But I want to listen from you in the language of charioteer and horse. Great. I think Keyur has got the answer. Charioteer has to work out and have good food. Exactly. So feed the charioteer, feed the intelligence. That's one step. And then what's the other step? Oh my God, the answers are on your screen, but you took a lot of time to answer this. The answers are on your screen. At least now, can someone answer it? The answer is are on your screen. No one. I was expecting that all IITians are intelligent. Don't prove me wrong. Starve the horses and feed your intelligence. Yeah, Kshitish is intelligent. Right, exactly. That is what we precisely need to do. We need to starve our senses, feed our intelligence. Now let's understand how we do that. Now, getting back to normal terms from charioteers and horses, let's get back to senses, mind, habits, and intelligence. So, first thing up, we are discussing how to starve your senses. Yeah, a lot of you have pointed it there that you need to restrict ourselves, have self control. You have pointed there, but to be precise, you need to starve your senses, not yourself. Your senses are attracted to sense objects, as we have already figured out. Now, if you all remember that we were talking about one bad habit that you want to break today, I want you all to figure out what are the triggers, you know, what are the triggers that make you do something. It may be playing chess, it may be a toxic social media habit, or it may be a toxic internet habit. What triggers you into doing it? I want you all to note this down. This is the first step you need to do. It is to figure out what triggers you into doing something. More or less, these are the three things that trigger us. First thing, maybe people. If you get it, I know a lot of people who try to become vegetarian, who try to give up smoking, who try to give up alcoholism. But what happens with them is whenever they come back into a company of people who are doing what they are getting out of, they they generally relapse. They fail to keep up their determination to break the habit. So one trigger is people, and then the next trigger is places. A few things you may not be doing them if you are sitting somewhere. If you go to a beach, it is rare that if you go to a beach or if you go to a mountain, it is rare that you sit down there and play chess. It is rare. But if you just sit in your room, if you are sleeping on your bed, it is more often than not triggers the action of playing chess or playing some other game, whichever you might be wasting your time on. And then the third project, which we fail to notice, the third trigger that we fail to notice is projects. Projects in the sense the work we do. If you are not interested in the work you do, you tend to get distracted. If you are, you know, if you are doing something that is outside your purpose, outside your passion, that is when you tend to get distracted, distract yourself with something pleasurable. So these are the triggers you need to notice if you are doing whatever bad habit you may be having. you need to figure out what are the triggers, which kind of people trigger it, which places trigger it, and which projects or which work trigger it, which task trigger it. So this is the first step you need to do after this session. So as I already told you, awareness is the key. Awareness of these triggers is the key. And you need to figure out, you need to become aware when these people or places or projects come up in your life. Whenever you get into these situations, whenever you come across these triggers, you need to send a red alert across your intelligence and mind that there is a trigger. You need to be more careful. Awareness is the key, but what helps you really is distancing. Distance yourself from those people, distance yourself from those places, distance yourself from those projects. Here, people can also be devices. So, if you have a bad habit of waking up with your mobile phone in your hands, then all you need to do it is put your phone away, put it away on a table, or it would be even good if you put it outside your bedroom. Put your mobile outside your bedroom if you think the mobile phone is ruining your mornings, or if the social media addiction or the game, online gaming addiction, if it is ruining your academics or if it is ruining your career or your work, then all you need to do is distance yourself from that phone. While you are working, phone must be away. It must be on a different table, on a different room, if possible. But the key here is distancing yourself. Distance yourself from those people. Avoid those people who trigger the same behaviors, and avoid those places and avoid those projects. And the other thing, as someone of you have already pointed out, is feed them right. If you starve your senses, there would be one point where they may die, right? There may be a point where the horses may die. So what you need to do is feed your senses right. Replace your replace your addictions with something. This will again come back in intelligence. If Instagram reels are your addiction, replace it with an app like Seco or Deep Stash. They provide you teeny shots of intelligence. The difference is that you are doing the same thing, but entertainment is a lot more addictive than education. So if you are entertaining yourself with Instagram reels, I'm not saying that all Instagram's reels are bad. There are good ones. But if you think you are wasting a lot of time on Instagram reels, then you need to replace it with something else. In the same way, for each and every sense object that might be addicting your senses, you need to replace it with something else. Right. With that, let me move ahead to feeding your intelligence. This is something we tend to neglect while we break habits. Right? Can someone read me out what they see on the screen? Just the subheadings. There are three R's, RRR. It's not the RRR we all are waiting for, but this is a different RRR. Anyone?
Research, reward, replace.
Exactly. These are the three things you need to do to feed your intelligence. The first thing is research. Research how a habit might be depleting your life, might be, you know, killing your life. It may be drinking, it may be smoking, it may be social media addiction, it may be gaming. More often than not, what we tend to do is we go in, autopilot mode. We just don't think about whether it's good or not. Even when we know it's wrong, we just know that barely, like we just know flatly that it's wrong. But to convince your mind, your intelligence will need all these whys. Why is it bad? And these not need to be very solid in your intelligence, that why this bad habit needs to be deleted, why it needs to be uninstalled. So the next step I want you all to do is, after this session you need to sit down and find out 5 clear whys, why this addiction or why this bad habit is going to make your life harder. And also write a few sentences describing how your life will look like without this habit. What all things are possible in your life without this habit? These are 2 things you need to write down in research part. Don't just do a Google search. You can do a Google search to find a few things, but further you need to do this. What will your life look like without this habit? And 5 clear ways. 5 clear ways you need to break this habit. And then the next step is reward. Rewarding shouldn't be like, rewarding shouldn't be something addictive again. Like, if you are breaking the habit of gaming, the reward should not be a chocolate. I hope you are getting it. Yeah, these rewards help, but what actually help are tangible rewards. You need to figure out how your life is going to get better. You need to find 5 tangible rewards. Understand your rewards well. Just the way you understood how this bad habit is going to make your life harder, write down 5 rewards which you will get by breaking this habit. And you need to write this down and put them up, if possible, on a post-it note or something that you come across every day. What I do is I put it up on the mirror where I brush my teeth every day. So while I brush my teeth every day, I read these 5 whys I need to break something, and 5 tangible rewards I would get by breaking it. And then the third R is replace. Many of you have already pointed to this, that you need to replace it with better habits, better triggers. So you need to feed your intelligence what's actually better. You need to figure out things that are actually better and that can replace a certain behavior. So there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita which says, Param Drishwani Vartate. While you are attached to something lower, the only way you can get out of it is by attaching yourself to something higher. And this is called the higher taste principle. If you are attached to something and you want to get out of it, you need to attach yourself to something with a higher taste. This is how you can replace your behaviors. So I hope you understood the 3 R's that you need to feed your intelligence with. Research, research the whys, why you need to break this habit. Then research, find out the 5 rewards that you would get by breaking this habit, and then find replacements to the triggers, to the behaviors that you might be having as part of your habits. How many of you understood the 3 R's? Type in RRR. If there is any question at this point, if you didn't understand something or you want to add something, you can you are free to unmute yourself. Madhuvani says, have to break the queue of bad habits. Yeah, cues are triggers. Great. A lot of people, all of you, understand the 3 R's to feed your intelligence. Any questions at this point? Rewards examples. Great. Rewards examples. Akash, what would you like to hear? Like, if you give me an example of bad habit, should I tell rewards for that, or should I take my own example? You can give me an example of bad habit, maybe the habit you are trying to break or something else, and I'll try to figure out the five rewards. If not five, I'll try to figure out some rewards. Akash, okay. Monica is giving anger management. Great. This is something that we all need to deal with. We all, in our own quantities, we all have the tinge of anger. So, how will anger management? How will coming over anger help you? How will mastering anger management reward you? The first reward I can see with plain sight is that you will do a great, you will do a great favor for yourself by giving up anger. The reason anger management comes up as a bad habit is because once you become angry on someone, more often than not, we get angry with our loved ones. And once we get angry, the next thing that would follow is guilt. We feel guilty for showing anger on someone we love. So one reward you will get is you will do away with that guilt of being angry with someone. And the second reward you would probably get is that you won't hurt people, especially you won't hurt the loved ones. There is a slight difference between guilt and hurting others. Many times, even if we didn't hurt others, we may feel guilt. But and in the same way, there are a lot of times when we hurt others, but we don't feel that guilt. We don't realize that. So these are two rewards I can see. The third reward would be your relationships would get better. Your team management, your people skills would get better if you do away with anger. You know, getting frustrated doesn't help in getting things done. If you have ever worked in a team or maybe in your own family, just getting angry won't make the other person do it. In the end, what we need to do is convince the other person to do it. One way is by showing anger, the other way would be with love. With love, you can convince them, you can explain them why they need to do something. So anger is not the solution. Anger is not at least a sustainable solution. If you show anger on someone, they may do it for the time's sake, but on a long run, it is not going to help. So doing away with anger will make your relationships better. It will also make you know your team sustainable. Working in a team sustainable for you. And then what else? Yeah, I leave this for you. Figure out a fifth reward for doing away with anger management. Sleep cycle. That's really amazing. So if you set sleep cycle right, one thing would be you will do a lot of good for your own body. You need to research this out. I want you to research this out. How sleep is important. Sleep is the most important thing in your physical health. If you are not giving proper sleep to your body, the toxic elements or the toxins, get pooled in your body. And while you are asleep, this is what your body does. All the scavengers in your body get active and they cleanse off the toxins in your body. They fight the toxins and they cleanse off the toxins. And when the toxins are not eliminated, they may result into a tumor or cancer. So that's a really huge reward that you give yourself if you set your sleep cycle right. Even if not setting your sleep cycle right, giving your body enough sleep of 7 to 8 hours will give you this reward of eliminating your chances of decreasing your chances of becoming cancerous, getting a cancer. And then setting the sleep cycle right will give a huge reward of morning. How many of you wake up early in the morning? No, if not once in a while, if you wake up in the morning, how many of you enjoy sunrise? I enjoy sunrise. Right. Sunrise is a great reward you can give yourself if you wake up early by setting your sleep cycle right. And if you can set your sleep cycle right, you can do a lot of things in the morning before you rush to your work. You can exercise, it will help you get in shape. You can eat good breakfast. Maybe if you're living alone, you can cook your breakfast and have good breakfast. This will help your digestive system. And if you can set your sleep cycle right, what else you can do? What else you can do is you have a great day. You'll have a great day. You'll have a great day at work. That will help your career maybe or your academics probably. So setting your sleep cycle has a long list of rewards. Shubham says YouTube videos, wasting time on YouTube videos, I guess. Um so it will, you know, it will translate to wasting time, whether it be on social media, whether it be on gaming, whether it be YouTube videos or series, web series. The greatest reward you get is time. If you ask anyone, any billionaire, maybe Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, anyone, they have a lot of money, but what they would ask from you would be time. But the biggest thing about time is, the greatest thing about time is that it can't be exchanged for anything else in the world. Your time is yours alone. Maybe someone can hire you for your time, possible, but your time is yours alone. So time is the greatest asset, probably one of the greatest assets you have. By leaving, by reducing your time that you spend on YouTube videos, something you will do yourself is having a lot more time. And again, there are a lot of rewards you can do with a lot of more time. You can focus on your career, you can focus on your records. Let's put both of them together as one reward. You can focus on your relationships. You can spend time with your family, you can spend time with friends. You can spend time on doing things which make you happy. You know, reading books makes me happy. Listening to good music makes me happy. Finding out new music also makes me happy. What else? Learning a new language, learning a new musical instrument. All these things makes me happy. So if you have time, you can put your time here. But if you are, you know, wasting a lot of time on YouTube videos, that is what you will fail to do. So all these would be your rewards if you give up wasting a lot of time on YouTube videos. Any other questions? I think I have answered for 3 bad habits, and I hope this will help you in figuring out your own rewards for whichever bad habit you want to break down. And let those rewards be personal to you. Make them perfectly specific, personalize them to yourself. As I told you, you need to figure out 5 whys, why you need to break this habit, and 5 tangible rewards that you will get by breaking this habit. It is possible that, it is possible that both your whys and your rewards may be the same. It may be just in, something like active voice and passive voice, possible. But still, I want you to write down 5 whys and 5 rewards. Kshitij, do you have something to ask? I also see some other hand raised. Kishore also has raised his hand. Do you have something to
Actually,
ask?
this hand was raised for that morning question, that
Okay.
if you enjoy
Okay.
morning
Thank you.
sunshine.
Yeah. Great. You enjoy sunrise. Okay. Kishore also might have raised for the same thing. Great. If there are no questions, I would want to end this session with one thing I want all of you to remember. We hold on to our habits and habits hold on to us. And as I already told you, letting go may be hard, is hard, letting go is hard, but holding on is going to be harder. But something you need to remember is however strong your bad habit may be, you are always stronger. Your bad habit is not going to be stronger than you. You are stronger any day, anytime, any habit it may be. Remember this. However strong your bad habit may be, you are always stronger. Remember, you are always stronger. This brings me to the end of the session. I hope you all have got something to reflect upon, something to work upon, and I hope you all will do that homework after the session whenever you have your time. And I hope to see you all tomorrow for another amazing session where we discuss how to build good habits and the magic of routines. Don't miss tomorrow's session. It's gonna be a huge, huge asset as you go forward in the journey of creating your best life. Thank you all for joining. If there are no
Uh,
questions, I end the
Bia, I
session
wanted
today.
to
Yeah, Kshitij.
add something to all
Yeah,
the
sure.
participants. Like today, around 16 to 20 attendees joined, and we would appreciate that for the next session. Like if you got benefited from today's session, then you can bring your one or two friends with you. So that will be even much more helpful for them also, and will make the session more productive for our college.
Really, exactly, Kshitij. And there is something you will understand tomorrow. There is something tomorrow which will help you understand why you need to bring those friends to this session. Remember this, that tomorrow you will understand why you need to bring your friends with you. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you, Kshitij, for adding that. Bringing your friends to tomorrow's session would be the greatest appreciation we would get. Thank you all. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. Good night. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.